Am I real? AI is a technology which is likely to be as transformative to human history as was the Industrial Revolution. Or am I AI?
Good afternoon and welcome to this IMM Friday Flash Talk. Literally your Friday power pod in just 15 minutes. This is the first time that we are running our IMM Friday Flash Talk in this new format. And this will be the first Friday of every month at 1:30. And we hope that you will pause from the noise of the workday and that you will just enjoy this short, sharp burst of insight from industry leaders. You can think of this as your lunch hour hotspot. And we really hope that you will enjoy today's topic, which is really just so relevant as we look at, is artificial intelligence replacing us or empowering us? I'm Irene Gregory, and I'm the CEO of the IMM Institute. And it really gives me great pleasure to welcome Dr. Clarissa Muir, who will be sharing her insights on adapt and win with AI. Is AI taking your job or making it better? Clarissa is the manager of professional programs at UXI Private Education Group and a specialist in the fields of strategic communication, branding, and sustainability. So wherever you're joining us from, whether it's at your desk, between meetings, or grabbing a quick lunch, we hope that you'll just settle in and just really enjoy the next 15 minutes of powerful insight. I want to invite you to open the little chat bubble down at the bottom of your screen, and then you can click on public chat up the top. And please ask questions, comment, interact. Clarissa will look at the questions once she's finished her presentation and reply to them. So Clarissa, and to everybody here, warm welcome. Clarissa, thank you for joining us today especially. And this virtual stage is now yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Irene, and welcome to all of you from my side. I hope you're having a good Friday so far. And first of all, I think let's start with a poll. Irene has obviously introduced the concept of what we're talking about today. Is AI taking your job as a marketer, or is it making it better? So please do go ahead and answer that poll. We'd like to see at the end what it is, what it obviously results into in terms of perceptions. So today we're going to address a very interesting topic, and that is something that is overtaking the world at the moment. I'm going to share my presentation, and I think you're going to see from the get-go that I perceive this, or approach this rather, than a partnership rather than a competition. So a lot of my research revolves around artificial intelligence, also how brands adopt artificial intelligence. But I think what is important is, are we adopting it strategically? Are we adopting it in a clever way? Or how are we obviously going about doing this? So first of all, I think AI is doing what electricity did 100 years ago. It is changing everything. It's changing the way we're thinking. It's changing the way we're doing things. And even more so, it's revolved into not even being referred to as a digital era anymore, but to AI, or the AI era. Think about it. When you Google, many of us don't even Google anymore. We chat GTP. And if you work with students, you'd know that that is their biggest friend when it comes to assignments. For the purposes of today, I want to go and just define the concept of artificial intelligence so that we're all on the same page as to what we mean when we talk about the concept. And what I'm referring to today is where tasks that are usually done by human beings are now taken over by machines. So the human intelligence is obviously being replaced. And please note that this is from a very broad discipline. It does include computer science, cognitive science, mathematics, etc. So think of it from a transdisciplinary perspective in that way. I am going to hand over to Riverside to play us a little video. And I want you to take cognizance of the fact that these three guys are all godfathers of AI. They all have played a major role in terms of AI development. I'm going to test how long you can concentrate, because it is it's a 2-minute video. So just bear with me and then we can discuss it.
What do you mean we don't know exactly how it works? It was designed by people.
No, it wasn't. What we did was we designed the learning algorithm. That's a bit like designing the principle of evolution. But when this learning algorithm then interacts with data, it produces complicated neural networks that are good at doing things, but we don't really understand exactly how they do those things.
What are the implications of these systems autonomously writing their own computer code and executing their own computer code?
That's a serious worry, right? So one of the ways in which these systems might escape control is by writing their own computer code to modify themselves.
Systems have experiences of their own and can make decisions based on those experiences.
In the same sense as people do, yes.
Are they conscious?
I think they probably don't have much self-awareness at present. So in that sense, I don't think they're conscious.
Will they have self-awareness, consciousness?
Oh, yes. I think they will in time.
And so human beings will be the second most intelligent beings on the planet.
Thank you so much for that. And once again, hey, it just shows you, we're talking about technology, and technology, once again, without human intervention, can't always play the role that we want it to play. But what I'm going to talk about today is the fact that our jobs, our professions are changing. And in 5 years' time, up to 70% of the skills that we currently have needs to change in order for us to obviously exist effectively within our daily routinely jobs that we do. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the job will be taken away. What it does mean is that a new technical skill is required, a new relational skill is required, and obviously a new way of thinking is required. So that then brings me by the marketing field, or to the marketing field. And I think when I speak to you, I'm speaking to the converted, because you all know that, routine tasks like the copywriting, like the consumer data, like creating visuals, all of that is now done in absolute minutes, where it once took hours, months, or days to do. So artificial intelligence is changing the way we do work. It's definitely changing the context in which we operate every day. And one of our major concerns with the research done last year by the IDC shows that 1 out of 5 marketing roles by 2028 will be held by an AI worker. Now, where does that put marketers? That puts marketers in a frame of mind which says, I now need to approach my strategy, I need to approach my creativity, and I need to obviously approach how I blend with as an AI agent. I need to change that way of thinking. So the truth at the end of the day is not the fact that it is changing the job per se, but it is shifting what we're doing completely in terms of how we approach it, how we think of it, and not necessarily taking away the job completely. So when I say changing jobs, what do I mean? Content creators have now become editors. Social media managers are playing on AI to pick up trends, to look at scheduling, to look at media buying. And where we usually used to focus on search engine optimization, we now focus on search generative experiences, where AI is actually doing that SEO, or what was SEO in the past for us. So that just gives us a bit of an idea of, and you would obviously be able to elaborate extensively on this, on how it's changing your context. But what I do want to highlight is some of the key thinkers in the field today, and that's people like Thomas Oosthuizen and Singh, who have all written in the latest edition of the Strategic Marketing magazine, saying, we need to approach this from a strategic perspective. We need to know that we need to start playing with technology, and we need to bring it into strategy, and we need to bring it into creativity. And there specifically, the capacity for AI is to play the role in the creative process. And there's a good reason for it to obviously be integrated throughout this process. So I also then want to refer to the B2B marketing benchmark study, which was conducted last year. And this was a study that was done on extensive respondents. They covered 2,000 respondents in 8 different countries. And these respondents were all marketing-minded people. And they said currently AI is increasing productivity by 40%. Please note, increasing productivity, not necessarily taking away productivity or taking away a job. Accelerating content creation by 39%. And obviously something which I think is amazing, better campaign ideation by 30%. Now, the ideation is quite a difficult one because we know that it is quite important for us to keep our human-led creativity or strategies. So there are certain things that AI can't do. And I want to highlight those. I think it's important to note that as brand custodians and as marketing people, we still have the brand purpose in our hands. And we know that we have to obviously create the guardrails for what happens from a brand perspective and a brand alignment perspective. AI also still struggles with strategic thinking when compared to human beings in a marketing arena. When it comes to ethics, there's certain questions that can be asked because remember, the tool is only as clever or as good as it is being fed. And then lastly, we battle with the concept of relational capital. AI really battles with building that relational capital like human beings can. I'm not saying that they can't do it, but what I am saying is that they're not doing it to the level that a human being can actually engage. So what does that mean? That means that the jobs that are currently changing are, for example, our repetitive execution roles. The jobs that are being replaced are, for example, media buying optimization roles or junior analysts. And there specifically, please note junior, and I'm not referring to the more senior roles in this instance. Right. So in I don't want to say conclusion, but in summary, I want to say that AI is not a competitor. From my perspective, and I think a lot of the literature shows us that AI is a strategic agent. And if we approach us as a strategic agent and we reimagine what we do as marketers, we adopt that as our partner. And that partner is completely a polymath. Polymath being an expert in the field, being an expert in various fields and various disciplines. And like we could see in the video, you're going to have an Einstein literally in your pocket. Not that we don't already have, but we know that it is obviously increasing in terms of capacity as we speak. So it's not a man versus machine saga, but in fact, it is a man with machine synergy, and how we obviously integrate that synergy into our jobs and into our lives is going to affect what we're going to have as an outcome. So my conclusion with regards to today's argument, and please make sure that you still answer, whether it's taking your job or making it better, is at the end of the day, strategists, marketing people, people working within brand arena really have to look at the human role that is elevated on 3 critical functions. First of all, you're still the strategist and you're still setting the brand's why. You're still setting the purpose of the brand. You're still determining the goals of the brand. And you're obviously still determining the North Star, the Vega of that particular brand. Then also the brand guardian, you setting the guardrails. You're looking at brand alignment in terms of where the brand is at. And also, are you on brand? Are you communicating on brand? And then lastly, the AI trainer, teaching the how. And specifically remember that these machines is very much dependent still on human development in an early stage with what we feed them. And context is important. So if we do not give the cultural nuances, we do not feed it the specific data that we obviously need, the development obviously comes into play. And that means that we're going to be asking questions. So in an African context, it's very important to make sure that as a marketer in Africa, we're contextualizing, and training correctly in terms of these machines. So in conclusion, marketers, totally hybrids of human strategists and AI agents. They're not taking over our jobs as we speak. And that then brings me to the fact that I think we should all focus in the next few months on the following training when we look at marketing and AI. Are we focusing on AI prompting and workflow design? Are we looking at how these systems are busy integrating into our systems at various brands, at various organizations? And are we prompting them correctly? Secondly, then data interpretation and analytics becomes crucial. Strategic thinking and brand stewardship, still an absolute major. Human-led creativity. And there, I think we know that the creative element can definitely still be human-led in today's day and age. And then lastly, tool evaluation and ethical judgment. So there specifically, I think the ethical judgment plays a major role. We all have that question when it comes to technology. Where do we know the machine actually makes the ethical decision? But it is developing, and it is definitely something that needs to be a question on our lips. So, ladies and gentlemen, my final strategic view on this perspective is that the rise of AI is not about replacing humans, but it is rather about enhancing the ability for us to create, enhancing the ability for us to connect, and enhancing the ability for us to innovate on a continuous daily basis and to build our brands and be the best brand stewards and best brand custodians we possibly could be. I thank you for your time. And I do welcome questions. So thanks for the voting. That obviously, I'm going to give it a few more seconds to see. We're totally on a 100%. Is it making it better, or is it taking my job? I think we're all on the same page with regards to that. So there's no dissonance between what you guys are thinking and what I'm thinking on the topic. And if there are no questions, then I'm going to hand back. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Clarissa. We really appreciate you taking your time out to come and share your insights with us in this short little snippet of lunch hour. I don't know, does everybody still take a lunch hour, or is a lunch hour something of the past? Sorry, there is a question for you there, Clarissa. What AI tools are marketers currently using?
Thank you. That's quite an interesting one, because I think what you find is, depending on what system you go into, organizations are putting a lot of money into creating their own systems as well. But I think at the end of the day, whether you're using a chat or a Gemini or whatever system you're obviously using, the customization of it becomes extremely important. So if it's a Google Pilot, I think what is important is not necessarily the tool, but the fact that it is customized to the system that it is being utilized within. There is another question from Danica. How can we ensure company privacy when using AI? And that's exactly it. The big ethics question. Can we? If it's out there in the public domain and it's out there on the internet, there's a problem with privacy. So I don't think it's as easy as can we ensure it. I don't think the word ensure is something that we can use when we speak to IT or when we speak to technology, Danica. But it is it's definitely something that is of concern. Also, we know with regards to AI and personal information, that's why legislation like the POPI Act has become crucial, and we integrate that into our businesses extensively, is because we need to use these tools, and we then need the legislation to obviously, guide us in that way.
I've got a question for you, Clarissa.
Yes.
Do you think that over-reliance on AI could actually weaken organizational thinking or creativity?
I think people could very easily become lazy in a role because confidence levels goes the moment you read, for example, your AI answer and you look at what you did and you were like, but why didn't I think of that? And that's exactly it. I think over-reliance is a very dangerous territory to play in. I think what needs to be very cognizant of the fact that you need to be the tool needs to be managed. You do not manage the tool. It is an agent It is not a tool. It is an agent, which is a strategic partner. And if we approach it in that way, obviously, we will have, way better relationship with it. I assume this is Mona Lisa, my past master student. I'm so happy to see you. Can AI ever truly be creative, or is it always remixing human work? I think we can see that AI can be exceptionally creative. And it is developing at the speed of light. So yes, I do think it can be creative. We use it a lot in education and marketing education. Our jobs have completely changed. At the end of the day, we do not have to do what we did in the past because AI can do that creative for us. But when it comes to brand campaigns, I think it's a bit different. And there we still need the human element. So human-led creativity, a top focus for 2026.
Okay, I don't see any more questions there, Clarissa, but if our audience leaves here this session remembering just one thing about AI in their careers and using AI in their careers, what do you think that one thing would be?
I think at the end of the day, one shouldn't let AI intimidate you. It's an exceptionally strong tool. And you're either too scared to use it or you start using it. And like you said, Irene, it's an over-reliance. And one almost starts to doubt your own ability. And you first go to AI and check if you agree. So I think at the end of the day, remember that as marketers, as brand communication specialists in the field, we still have a human role to play. And we can use that to create, to innovate, and to obviously enhance what we're doing rather than it taking our role.
Absolutely. I see there's one more question there as well. Which AI tool as a marketer have you found to be effective, mainly for marketing?
Well, I must be quite honest with you. I play with everything. So I am not an advocate for a specific tool. So I'm not going to give you a specific tool because I think that would be obviously subjective. But what I am going to say to you is I play a lot on the newest tools. And I do think that as marketers, the emphasis, and I'm going to go back to that, take it into the business, contextualize it. I'm going to pronounce it incorrectly, but Riobaka, can you tell me what tool you use and if you think it is effective? Do you think AI-generated influences could eventually replace human influences? Absolutely yes, without a doubt. I had a little video which I took off today, which I wanted to play, and that was the 2025 APSA campaign. They made an APSA campaign based on AI technology. And we see in that how effective it could be utilized. We see them create influences and we see them work. So it definitely is something that works. Yes, Namsa, absolutely. Thank you. Spot on.
Thank you. If there aren't any more questions, I think we can end off our Flash Friday. Clarissa, thank you so much for all your insights. Really, really value you and value the time you've taken to discuss this interesting topic with us. And I just want to, while we're online, advise everybody of our IMM Institute Excellence Awards, which will be happening on the 8th of May. We do close off registrations on the 31st of March, so please go onto our website. Please do nominate. We'll be honoring both individuals and corporate marketing and supply chain teams. So we please encourage you to enter. We're going to play you a quick short snippet as we end off this session from last year's award. And we hope to see you on the stage on the 8th of May. And we also hope to see you back here for our next IMM Friday Flash Talk in April. It will be the second week in April due to the Easter weekend. But usually we are here the first Friday of each month at 1:30 in your lunch hour, if you're taking that lunch hour. But let's watch that quick snippet quickly from our IMM Excellence Awards. And thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being here. Hope to see you back here next month. And thank you kindly, Clarissa. Much appreciated. As we recognize the bold brands and individuals who've made a significant contribution to the industry, we honor not only their accomplishments, but also their dedication to shaping the future of marketing and supply chain management.
It is a dream come true.
There's something about winning. It changes your credibility. It changes how people perceive you.
I mean, being nominated, it almost like acknowledges the hard work that I've been putting into my business.
Believing in yourself, committing to doing the work and reaching for the stars.
The judges are credible people, are people that have done the work, that have walked the path, that know what great marketing and supply chain work looks like. These are people that have journeyed throughout various facets of supply chain and marketing, and their voices matter.